Good morning. This morning I'm going to talk about stage 8 of the 8-stage learning design framework, so the final stage, which deals with evaluation. Essentially, evaluation is not something, although it comes as the final stage, is not something that you leave until the end of a program. You don't run a course or a module or a program and then worry about how you're going to evaluate it. It's very important as part of the design process that you design in evaluation. I'll give you an example. One way of evaluating the learning and teaching experiences of your students at the stage where you're designing those learning and teaching activities in stage 6, you want to design in some form of small group instructional diagnostics, for example, where you're asking students to provide evaluative comment on their experience, say a third of the way through a module, so that you can then make refinements. So you need to strategize that kind of evaluative data into your design so that you make room for it, you make time for it. Likewise, if you're designing, if you're originating a particular approach using a particular media resource, say that you are beginning to use discussion forums in order to run a particular activity. You may even run an entire module using discussion forum. You need to work out what your evaluation criteria for the relative success of that are at the time that you design it. Because it may be, for example, let's say that you want to assess students' engagement with that discussion forum, that you may make that assumption that that data is available. You may then run the module and find that actually that data isn't available. So you need to work out what kind of learning analytics need to be put in place in order to be able to run that particular activity. So it's very important at each stage, as you go through each stage of the process, student profiles. Have you established the right kind of profiles? Have you in fact attracted students that fall outside of the expected window or profile, if you like, of the students? Now, is that a recruitment issue? Is that a marketing issue? Or in fact, did you pitch the module incorrectly? So having those evaluation criteria at the beginning makes sense. Has the module or program been well received by the professions or the disciplines? Knowing what your evaluation criteria are at the beginning, then when you come to evaluate stage 2, you will then have some meaningful evidence, and so on and so on. So it's very important to define what your evaluation criteria are. Now, you can't really do that until you've worked out exactly what you want all those stages to be, but long before you put a program through a validation process, you need to have defined and indeed adjusted your design to make it an evaluation opportunity, to make sure there is evaluation data for your design.